Oh hi, it's Bukai, and welcome back to another video for the Guild 3 on our Barber Surgeon playthrough. And as we left off last time, we are now at the point where we are building our second business. The Sharpened Scissors joins the Let's Splash. I'm going through my finances for the first two couple rounds that we've had at the beginning. And you can kind of see that we're running at an operational loss, and we're sitting at a total for this round at minus 990, with a total profit in the grand total of my positive 708. It's an expensive business to start up, but once you've got the actual first couple up and running, then you end up just with this nice little chain going. And I've still got to keep micromanaging both of these businesses, pulling somebody off of the flowers, telling them to go back, pulling off of the flowers, telling them to go back, yada, yada, yada. It is a bit of an annoying micromanagement, but, it is what it is. It's something that you just kind of have to do at the beginning. I do falter a little bit on it. It's just an annoyance. And you can see here that there is a plague that is spreading around through this little city. Now, I should think about actually building a nice little herb hut here. However, it looks like my opponent has a herb hut, and they're all running to that to get healed. Now, if you build a barber's hut, it doesn't actually cure people's ailments, but what it does is that it actually increases their immunity to actually getting sick. So if you have a barber's hut in the area, or multiple barber's huts, it actually makes it harder for people to get sick. It's something to keep in mind if you are doing this strategy, that it doesn't actually lend itself well into going into the hospitalization, which is odd, because considering if you look at the actual tree, it tells you to go to, basically you go to the barber, then you go into the pest house. I just find it a little bit of an interesting thing, and right now I'm just trying to get my sharpened scissors up and running and properly making some cash. As I tell one person to run back home and go and serve the customers, he'll drop off his flowers into the shop, and when he's done serving customers, he should is the key word, begin to helping out the customers. And there she be. And the goal is to keep upgrading my characters. Now, you want to be upgrading dexterity and intelligence. These two will help out with the actual services. I used to think that charisma did, but I'm second guessing that charisma actually helps out with the service, simply due to the fact of that's only really for personal reputation. It doesn't actually help you get better in the service that you are providing. I could be wrong. If I am, people could let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there in the comments, if you wouldn't mind giving a like and a subscribe, because only about 7% of you guys are subbed to the channel that are watching this. And if, on the original guild videos, it was down to like 2.9. So yeah, it would really help out the channel if you guys did give it a like and subscribe. But continuing forward, I'm looking at the sharpened scissors, and I'm just trying to keep the flowers up and running and save up to get the 1200, well technically 1500 in order to hire the next person. I'm also going through to see how I'm comparing to the others, what businesses they're running, and you can see that there's one other person that is kind of competing with me with the herb hut and the barbery. I'm not really liking the fact that they're in the same business trades as me, and I've got to outcompete them in the area. Thankfully, the AI doesn't seem to really invest heavily into the actual customer satisfaction, or if they do, they're not as efficient at running these businesses. So you can see there that I now have two customers being served at once, and I'm building up the soaps. I have a decent supply, and once this Stephanie finishes up her flower collection, I will have a nice supply of flowers that I won't have to be going back to getting up. Now, I decided to pull Edith over to pull some of these soaps out to sell for a quick infusion of cash. And I don't take them to the best spot. I decide to, you know what, I'm just going to go to Dole and sell the gear that I have and just make a little bit of money on the soaps. It's not the most profitable, and you can see here is a misclick. I be misclicking. Why? It's not the most profitable for the first trip, but it's fine. It could be worse. And there we go, there we go. We've sold that. And we're going to send Edith all the way back. We're at 1,505. So we are at enough where we can go to the sharpened scissors and actually upgrade the next servant. And you'll see me do that in just a second. And there, come on. Let's still let splash. Come on, what are you doing? Come on, Bukai. Stop being dumb, Bukai. There you go, you found the sharpened scissors. And customer satisfaction's already upgraded. So I'm going to go up to, come on. Come on. Why did you go? There you go. There you go. Workers +1. And now you can go to productivity, hire worker, and bam. Now, one thing that I should be doing is upgrading the max number of service workers to 4. This can help speed up your entire process, but it is a number that I left for a little bit. And you can see that this plague outbreak, or this is an actual flu illness that is going around, it's getting a little bit worse in this area, as if some of these either poisoning or the flu is just passing around to basically everyone. And I don't want to be catching it. It's just dangerous. So I can see here that Guinevere is waiting for work. She really wasn't just activating right away. I had to send her into the building. I'm not sure what was causing that issue, but clearly something was, and something's happening up to Henri, or Henri, however you pronounce that guy's name. I believe that would just be Henry. And there we go. He is now up and running. I'm kind of scouring around, seeing what's going on with this massive flu, and people are praising me. Opponents are starting to name some hairs, which, you know, should be happening. And my kids are just not very good. They're going to be a little bit expendable, a little bit worthless. I'm hoping that I can get better ones for the next generations, or even through the next kid through the waifu. Now, I've got a ton of soaps, and I'm not able to really take Edith. It's not really efficient to take her off of boasting, because boasting is going to be very useful to getting my good old-fashioned influence inside of the city. So I'm at a point where I've got to actually think hard about hiring transporters and setting them to be allowed to sell the goods. I don't do it right away. I'm thinking hard about it, but the main reason why I don't do it right away is considering I don't have the cash. But I'm seriously thinking about it at this point as I'm leveling up my characters, and I need an influx of cash coming in and an excess amount of soaps. It's only about 800 per trip, so it's long to take them off, but that can pay off. And I really should have at this point, once I've got the second business, and once I've got a steady supply of soaps going on, my characters are just producing, I don't have the customers right now, I hire some transporters is what I really should be doing, rather than pulling Edith off and functioning as a transporter herself. Just a little bit of a weak point that I was doing, and, you know, I could be more efficient, but, you know, this is Bukai. Bukai does his efficiency as he pleases. And looking at the plague-run town, this place seems to be the better place for getting more customers. I think it's because I'm the only barbershop in town versus being built right across the street from another one, where we're kind of competing for customers. So I think that the sharpened scissors actually starts making me more money than the initial starting position. Something I should have thought about, but, you know, I didn't. It's fine. Yeah, and someone just laughed at me. Not liking that, but it's fine. If you're gonna be laughing at me, I can get you later. I can get you later. I'll never forget you. You laughed at me before. What are you? Oh, you're just an orchidist. Come at me, bro. Come at me. You can see, though, that I am fairly bottom tier, though, and these guys are outpacing me. Now, this chart will change once I start getting the money, once I start getting better kids, once I start getting my businesses up and running. Because right now, I'm kind of at the position where I'm just getting the money train rolling. And the first start is hard to get the money train rolling, but once you have it, it's a nice, steady, passive income for a business that you can just let it run on its own. And it's here that I gotta then pull all my guys back off and hope that they can make it before 10, but they don't. And unfortunately, this is a missed opportunity because that could have been that could have been right there, a couple hundred extra coins that just I missed out on. And it is my fault entirely, and there's nothing I can do, nothing I can do. So by the time they get to the building, they're going to make it and go to sleep instantly. Now Bukai decides to sell off the soaps that he had picked up once he had made it down towards there, and we're at 1877. And we are going to actually look towards what we can upgrade, and the Barbery requires the Yeoman level 2. Now, there's no actual real point in unlocking the Barbery tier 2 for this strategy. It's just an additional 750 that I don't really need to spend. And I'm going through the Roguery tree because this is where I want to be looking at later. As this goal for this campaign is to try to be a rogue, poisoning everybody, attacking everybody, breaking some bones, causing some injuries, and making them go to my hospitals to heal. Anybody has a rival hospital, you conquer it, you conquer it, and you demolish it. And that's all you need to do is just keep conquering and demolishing, firing a thug every time he is successful, and just profiting that way. So Roguery tree is where we are going to need, and you can see that we're right back down to, as much as we keep seeing shooting stars, fallen angels, but the Gloria Privatus may be there as we are running low on cash. We're at a point where we're just continuously running out of money, and we're trying to poop out another kid because our top 3 kids are pretty garbage, and having a fourth kid is pretty useful, especially considering I'm not in the best of positions, and I'm going to be losing some quick reputation there on 3 different guys, and that could have gone a bit better. Now I'm sending both Bukai and Edith back to my actual house to try to poop out another kid, as I was saying, and I get really lucky when this kid comes out. I'm not going to spoil it too much on there because this kid's nice. And it was worth it to send them back and have Edith have a little bit of a downtime as I wait for Bukai to basically cross the realm. And it was a low pregnancy chance. Like, it was a 38% chance or something like that. I, by rights, should not have gotten it. Now, looking at the score, you can see that I went from the bottom up to about the middle of the pact, and the Sharpened Scissors is already making back about a quarter of its business versus the other one is still sitting at about, it looks about 80% of the way there. So the Sharpened Scissors seems to be a bit more profitable than my initial starting the splash. Now I am dangerously close to running out of money, and you can see there someone is expecting a baby. I am dangerously close to running out of money, so I do send them both back to the Grove as soon as I can find it on the map, and it takes me a little bit before I can find it, and there she be. So I send them both back to the Grove in order to collect the deer, as I need to just make a bit of money. Once the guys start working, wages will start be coming in, and I'm just not going to have enough. I do decide I'm going to actually take Bukai off, grab the soaps, and just sell some of these soaps right away, as I need to just make a little bit of cash, and you're just going to run up to Old Town. I'm not even bothering to check where they're going to be selling for the most at. I just assume Old Town is going to be selling for more than where I currently am. Now, Edith, I then set to, like I said, collect the deer. The perfect thing to do when you are pregnant is to collect deer, obviously. Go hunt deer and carry a deer carcass, or 20 of them, back to your actuals, back to your house. Fun. Not now, please. I'm surprised she didn't lose her kid. Now looking at the sharpened stone, some people are starting to level up, and we're going to be moving the dexterity up as well to match. And scrolling down in a second, you're going to see that I have a couple of people waiting, and that means that it is time to pull these people off of the actual street, or off of the Gathering the Flowers, and sending them to basically go back to serve all the customers. It's a necessary step and something that we have to do, as I am starving for cash right now at 107 coins. Wages should be coming in soon. I'm probably going to be in debt, and I don't know what I'm going to need to don't know what I'm going to do. And Bukai has made it to the market by the looks of it, but I haven't actually sold them yet. And I'm just trying to make sure that everybody is back to the actual business. And there we go. Everybody seems to be running down there. I might miss some of those customers, and I do end up grabbing one. Yep, and I think I missed the second, but I get the third, which it's fine. It could be worse. I could have I could have just missed all of them. And there we go. So I sell for 22, and that brings me up to 1,175. And now we're starting to get the money in once the services are going back, and I can afford the actual wage hits once they arrive. And if anybody knows, again, in the comments below, if you could let me know when the wages actually are taken, that would be really helpful. I'm not sure if it changes per business or whatnot, as it would help me with the future planning. That's something that I would like to know. If anybody has the answer, please let me know in the comments below. And we're at 1455, 1545. We're starting to climb. And others are getting more titles. I am being passed, but we're at a healthy point where we can start to look at getting up a third business. And I'm right now inspecting to see what I'm looking at. And I can see there is a barber shop down here, and I will be competing against these guys, and I have no choice. I have to compete against them. I'm going to build up the sharp razor, and we're going to find a nice spot to drop this. And I'm trying to snake it to see if I can get into here, and I barely can sneak the business on that nice busy road. Granted, I think the upper part would have been a bit better because you have a little bit of extra foot traffic, but it's fine. It's not the biggest of deals, and we're down to a low section of cash again, which does put us into a dangerous position. And I do run Bukai down here in order to, or at least I plan to move Bukai down here in order to get the business up and running. I do look at what I have and I say, you know what? I might just hire somebody right away to just run this business. And that's what I end up doing, is just hiring someone. There we go. I got the barber up and running. We're going to set them onto soap, and we're not going to get a number of customers to start, and I'm already out of cash. And so Bukai needs to be dismissed and hired back into running into this business. And there we go. Bukai's going to run down and make his trip. By the time he makes it down, he's got to collect flowers, which is fine. It's not the best, but he helps the business get up and running as I need the cash to come in. And I'm going to need a lot of cash to come in, as I don't really have much to help me right now. You can see that the customers are being slowly treated as the guys are there, and I only have one person, Guinevere, who is collecting the flowers right now, which should build me up to have enough soaps. And I'm going to have to, if I want to keep my money up and running, like I said, it's almost time to start buying the transports. And like I said earlier, or sorry, the opposite as I said earlier, the Splash has a higher tier of customers coming in, and I just pull everybody off because I'm like, I need to serve all of these people. That's several hundred gold coins that I am missing out on just by hanging around, doing nothing. I need to talk to them, and I need to work with them. Now, I know that in the mid-game, some people say just ignore soap, don't build soap, just ignore it, and just serve all the customers. That might be better to do, and as my guys go in, I'm going to collect the cash from them. I think that building the soap might actually be decent. I know that you are going to miss out on some services. Maybe in the mid-game you want to be doing that, but I don't know. And right now it's time to start hiring my kids in order to making them work, and I'm going to make them to go out and play for a nice EXP boost and a influence boost. Kids are a nice chunk of influence for me. And if I can keep Arnold to playing, will get me some nice EXP for him and some nice influence. And we're going to unlock our ambitious title to start us along on this chain. And it's going to be time to save up to get the resident, as I need to get another business. So if you guys have been enjoying this video, don't hesitate to give it a like, subscribe, pass it on to your friends. If you hated it, pass it on to your enemies out of pure spite. If you guys would like to help support the channel, there's a link to a coffee shop down below where you can buy me a coffee. It'd be much appreciated. With that, take care, everyone.